In our last episode, we explored Blue Pearl Bay before being chased away to shelter by a storm. We did some quick repairs to our mainsail before exploring the beautiful caves of Nara Inlet.
When I look at you, I see right through your smile. When you touch my hands, send shivers down my spine, rocks my soul. How do I tell you this is how I feel? How do I know? I want you. I want you. I want you. I want you. Cross my mind.
Okay, welcome aboard. SAREAN is a 47-foot Bowman and she is a blue water cruiser, and we've got her kitted up to sustain us with power and energy and food for months at a time. So we'll just show you how that all works and take you on a bit of a boat tour. Okay. So first of all, we've got our solar power. We've got 500 watts of solar power here and the wind gen, and that pretty much provides us with all of the power that we need on a daily basis. So that's great. Our lovely barbecue, so that gets used a lot on board. It helps keep the heat out of the interior of the boat, because we are cruising in the tropics currently, and so try to reduce heat in the boat. So barbecue is a great idea. Fishing line, so when we're trawling for fish, this is a really nifty thing. We can just wind it out, let it go, and see what we reel in. And down in this locker here, this is our boot. It's like our shed, and it's got, what's it got in it? It's got fuel, spare fuel, diesel fuel and outboard fuel, and it's got our snorkeling and diving gear in there. It's got lots of spare rope and lines. It's got spare anchors and our storm anchor, and it's got some sunshades that I put about the place, and a generator. So this is our little love seat where we like to hang out. Actually, I just wanted to show you, this is the gas storage locker, and we have a couple of gas bottles in here, and that pretty much keeps us running for about 6 months at a time, I'd say. So yeah, that's where the gas is stored, a nice separate locker. Okay, this item here is our Dan buoy. So if somebody goes overboard, you turf that immediately that they go overboard, and it pops up a big pole with a flag on it, so you can basically keep a bit of an eye on where they are. Alrighty, so that's our bedroom underneath. This whole area is our aft cabin. Pretty luxurious. Okay, as we go forward, we have Darren lying in one of our favourite places, the hammock.
I know it looks like I'm just bludgeoning around, but I'm actually doing a rig inspection.
Good on you, babe.
But right after that I might have to set some shade up.
Okay, so this is our cockpit, and we do spend a lot of time in here. This is the helm station, obviously, with the B&G chart plotter, which we're really happy with. We run both Navionics and CMAP charts in there, depending on where we are. Yeah, so it's not the biggest cockpit in the world, but it's really good for this size boat. It's a nice deep cockpit, and we can actually work everything. For example, if I'm at the helm, I can easily work the sheets from here. The winches are quite good access, and the main sheet is right here, so that's really good access as well. So yeah, So yeah, this is a really nice place to be when you're at anchor and just hanging out. We have these screens, these sides that roll down. So these flaps actually roll down, and during the rainy weather or inclement weather you can actually still sit out in this cockpit, so it creates a really nice living area here. And we also, sometimes when we're sailing in heavy weather, we'll actually still sail with those down to keep the water out of the cockpit with those big green waves. But you can still actually get underneath them and work the winches when you need to. So yeah. Okay, so SAREAN is a 2-cabin layout. She has an aft cabin in the back there, and we have a forward cabin, which is the queen cabin up front. And we actually have 2 side berths, pilot berths, in the saloon. So we'll just show you how that all works. I love this. So yeah, okay, so this is our aft cabin, and it's a really spacious bed. It's an athwartship bed, and it goes, so which that means it goes the whole width of the cabin area, so that we can sleep either way comfortably depending on which tack we're on. Okay, and so just underneath the bed we have our clothing cupboards, and also clothing cupboards and a bookshelf off to the starboard side. Okay, I'll show you the laundry next. Okay, so we have converted this into a laundry because we don't see the need of having two heads or 2 bathrooms, if you don't know what a head is. So you can see our washing machine there. Over on the far side we keep our safety gear and our wet weather gear, and we've made, Darren has built a cupboard here which stores our sup, or our 2 sups, and some diving gear, and the water maker is at the back, which I will pass the sup out to Darren and show you. But
this used to be the old head, so we've converted it into a nice little laundry and storage place, and this is where the head used to sit, and there used to be a wall across here and just a sink, so it was quite a dingy little dunny.
Yeah. Anyway, it's much better as a laundry.
Yeah, it's much better as a laundry. So we've put a couple of shelves in here, so we can store our sups and our dive gear, and right in under yonder there's our nice little water maker, or one half of it.
So that's the membrane part of it.
That's the membrane part. The actual pump part is in the engine room. So we've utilised this a bit better. There's a fridge compressor up in behind there, and we've made another little box up in there to store a bit more stuff. So we've really turned it into a much better and more practical place for us anyway.
Yeah.
The other thing we did, we couldn't actually access, there's a great big space underneath the bunk, so we just cut a hole out here, and so we've got more accessible storage, so you don't actually have to lift up the mattress every time you want to grab something out. You know, we've got a bit more line here, and there's 2 staysails there, so and a bit of other paraffin junk.
Yeah. Yeah, so as you can see, if you were sitting in bed, it's quite easy to see what's going on in the cockpit, and you can communicate quite well with the person who's on watch.
It also lets quite a lot of breeze in through this area. Most aft cabins it can be quite stuffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it does let a nice breeze run through the aft cabin, which is quite good.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where we make all the toast and eggs. This is it's a traditional U-shaped galley. We've got hot and cold pressure water. We've even got some traditional pumps under the sink. If we have some problems, we can revert back to manual. We've got a gimbaling stove. We've got quite a bit of storage right around here, and it actually goes right around to into this bench space here. We've got a front opening fridge here, and we've got a lift top freezer over the back, and deep up in there we've actually got some more cupboard space, so we have got quite a lot of storage in the galley, and it works quite well in a seaway as well. And we also have a nice little Waco in the saloon for the longer passages, or when we've got guests on board. We've got a little bit more refrigeration space, which is great.
Okay, so this is our charting and navigation and communications centre on board the ship. This is also where I do most of the video making, so it's a very important part of the vessel. So we have our switchboard here, which controls most of the functions of the vessel, and we also have our radar. We have our VHF, HF and Iridium for satellite communications, and we also have in this panel the controller for our water maker. And also down here, one piece that I think is super cool is we have our traditional old Coke bottle opener. Okay, so this is our saloon area, or our lounge area, and we do spend a lot of time in here. It's quite comfy. Under the floor we have got 500 litres of fuel stored, and under the galley floor and leading through to the hallway which goes through into the aft cabin, we have got 3 separate water tanks that hold 400 litres of water. So quite a lot of fuel and water stowage. Yeah, on this side, okay, so this is actually a single berth, but because there's only the 2 of us on board, we generally use it for storing fruit and veg and a few other items. Hidden behind these cupboards is a lot of food storage, and we use underneath these settee seats a lot of long-term food storage. However, under this section of the settees, it's a bit of an Aladdin's cave. We've got lots of spare parts and spare tools and accessories in there. Fuel pumps and water pumps and clamps and hoses and electrical items, you name it, you'll find it under there. So lots of spares on board. And then pretty much the same on this side. This berth has food storage underneath. Food lockers in behind the settee, and then this actually holds all of my video equipment and filming equipment at the moment, with a charging station. But when we do have 4 to 6 guests on board, this does get stashed elsewhere so that somebody can sleep in this berth. Okay, going forward we have the forward head, which is pretty basic really. Just contains a toilet and a shower and place to stash all our bits and bobs. So that's where we keep all of our linen and medicines and whatnot. Okay, this is the workshop, one of both of our favourite places in the world. Okay, so we have a full-length mirror actually on the back of this door, which I was quite intrigued to find, but anyway, we do use it every now and then, and it's a great utilisation of space. So welcome to the second den of antiquity. We've got trolleys and a bit of day-to-day sewing gear and all of our tools and a stack of more spares and equipment. Okay, so this is our forward cabin, and it's a lovely queen size berth up here. I often come up here and hang out and read a book. It's a really nice space to be in with all the cushions and whatnot. Actually, we have the access to the anchor locker at the back there, just in case we need to get in there and knock a chain out. And also underneath this berth there's quite a lot of stowage. So on the starboard side we have got two spinnakers and a storm main, and on the port side under here we have got drogue, and then up the very front we have got stashed all of the guest bedding and all of our winter bedding, and that's all stashed in vacuum packed bags. So there's quite a lot going underneath this bunk. Oh yes, and we also have got our paper charts stored flat underneath the mattress, yeah, in the vacuum sealed bags. Righty ho, so just down under here we keep our grab bag, but when we're on passage or on voyage we do actually pull this out and put it underneath the companionway stairs for easy access in the case that we need to abandon ship. And there is lots of cupboard space in here, and we've made the most of one of these cupboards is actually the power tool section of the vessel. So yeah, if you wanted to be a handy person, come and find a power tool and do some work on the boat. That'd be great handy for us. Otherwise there's more cupboards and a wardrobe just here, so it's a really nice cabin to be in.
Okay, so this is the heart of SAREAN. It's a 75 horsepower beater, which is basically, it's just a Kubota based engine. You know, we put this in about 6 years ago now, so it's relatively new. The beauty about these engines, you can actually option them out with all sorts of stuff. We had the option of putting a second alternator on, so we've put a 160 amp alternator on, and it looks after the house bank, and we've got just a normal 65 amp alternator, and it looks after the batteries, so the engine start batteries. So we're certainly not short of power in any department. We actually upped the size. It used to have a 50 horsepower in there, and it was a little bit lame. So anyway, this is what I decided to go with, and it just works a treat. It's smooth as smooth, and very, very economical as well.
Yeah, we've never had any problems with it, have we?
No.
It just goes, and she's got the power.
If you really need to motor into something, and you can just point it out there and just push the throttle down and it just goes. It's just basically it's just a tractor engine that comes out of all your agricultural stuff. So it's it makes all its power at low RPM, so all its torque is it's made at low revs, so you don't really have to drive the ring out of this thing to push her along. 1500 revs is about 3 litres an hour, so it just works a treat. Okay, so the back end of it's all quite tight in here, but that's the pump end of the water maker. So I've tried to utilise the space everywhere. It's not really that easy to work with, but that's where I managed to fit it in. So we can actually take the other side of the engine room out in the laundry end, so we can actually access the engine from 3 sides, which is quite good. And back up in here, this is all SAREAN'S got all hydraulic steering. Then it's got the electric drive for the autopilot, which is a course master autopilot, which is, I must say, is also brilliant. She'll just about steer through anything, so yeah, it's good stuff. So the other thing that we done when we put this engine in, we hooked it up with this, they're called aqua drives, and they're made by Hardy Spicer, and this actually takes out any misalignment of the engine. So the other thing it does, it pushes actually on the frame that the engine sits on, as opposed to all the torque of the prop pushing on the engine mounts. So it doesn't matter what the engine's doing in relation to the shaft, it'll always be perfectly aligned. No vibration through the boat at all. It's fantastic. So the lungs of the ship, there's 4 225 amp hour AGM batteries. They're all 6 folders, and they're all in behind this sort of communication centre, if you like, nav station, part of that. So we've got 4 of those in there. Seems to keep us alive pretty well. And also a standalone battery, wholly and solely for the GPS. So in the case of a big electrical storm, we can isolate the ship and still have some navigation gear up.
Yeah. And we've got the engine start battery underneath the chart table as well.
That's right. Under the chart table there's another 2 285 amp hour batteries for the engine start.
Yeah.
So,
rocking it.
yeah.
Okay, so that concludes the walkthrough of our beautiful home.
Okay, so if you have any questions, just please comment below, and hopefully we can answer your questions.
Yeah, we love to hear from you guys. And please, if you enjoyed the video, give it the big thumbs up. It really helps us out. As always, remember to subscribe, and we'd be really grateful if you would share the videos. You let your other friends know about our channel. It'll really help us grow. So thanks very much, and we wish you a great week.
Okay, see you next time.
Ciao for now. The big colourful balloony sail.